King Boom.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it.
Dirty Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth and take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like broken down waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs trying to get next to their heads with the doctor's cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues. Contradicting with King Alfred to give clues like news. Noble Drew Ali died some pale more blues. Prophet saved him his money before the floor fell through, and that's true. Even though I don't have proof, selling memory tells me don't fall for spooks. Drop mental nukes, hanging from their own vine from the fig tree, looking up at them like Big B. No white flag or mercy for you fags. 5-point and pentagram is on our flag. Green, but not for cream. That Dirty Moors took to throw off the balance of the Grand Treasury books. Getting offers like high school ballers. Those that infiltrate are not Moors but robbers. Robbing the people blind, deaf, dumb, and crippled. They can't tear this up, not one drop or trickle. No matter how hard they try to perpetrate the fraud, Dirty Moors always fall on their sword.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it.
Me nah play with on so simmer and easy. From 19 how long, me see it's sleazy. So sick, it's measly and disgusting. Everyone stood there. The Moors did nothing when Drew was attacked. They took the covenant that they will protect him and have his back. Behind on dues by 4 months. Going to kangaroo courts to perform stunts. Temples versus temples. Lawsuits from inner fights. Not doing their job, 3,500 for birthright. Mufti Force left supposed to be in Gucci stores with God. I thank Allah for the Sufi Moors and Buddhist Nagas. Moorish Mike Renaissance, not rap sagas. Confusion clearer, MC battle scar wearer. Moorish nationality declarer. Straighten out the crooked ways, rap conduct squarer.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it.
Let me strip them down, I'm the bone bearer. Negro, black, colored, minority, death preparer. Not the being, but the label attached. See me like Martin, going crazy, waving gats. Cause you call yourself black, that's a kick me sign on your life. Can't stab your enemy holding the blade of the knife. Numbskull MCs flow so dull that I'm pulling down Orishas like skull caps to torture the rapper, scissor sippers. Rapper, CD scratcher, insert ripper. Call me Jack and get slapped though. Admiral when I flow, major like macro. Don't spit on a cameraman like Pac will, but beat the case like Black Bill, but no lawyer. Ask Jim Carrey, liars do nothing for you while they get rich and pour you. Make you follow magistrate orders that get the coke to snort from wood corners and blocks ghetto. All I see is rappers, dress codes, repedo, tight shirts, skinny jeans looking like heavy metal bands. I'm not babe but L like bread and hands. I grab mics, no sweat in hands. With birthright brands, I don't worry about getting scanned.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. We started dropping it.
What up?
How to get the most of Grammarly free.
It's Kayla on behalf of Grammarly to tell you.
So I want to get you in. What? I'm rocking. Who says we ain't in the building? Who says we ain't into building? We the Moorish master masons, architects for your children, repping Friday 13th like Jason, without the killing. But we promote life, oh, it's all about the feeling. And we invoke light, yo, we them light beings. Though you might see him on the block getting his portion, might be talking to cops, giving them caution. Occasionally wearing his fez when he's walking, see the turning heads. whispering Gawkin, but he's locked in and he's zoned out while we boxed in our own
We
house.
study the mystics, the adepts, the magi. Wisdom of the ancients can uncalcify eyes. Possible mission, free mental numbness. Extract the substance, rid minds of dumbness. Use the source, don't care what some purport. As we know by being told, man knows not. Many before the floor, souls got bought. Placed in the devil's hands, ruling the seven lands. To dogma rituals, Negro spirituals. Brainwash subliminal, keeps thinking to a minimal. They're still criminal. In a world digital so pitiful. Mental survival so critical, it's visible. Can you see past righteous blocks? Hashtag zombies with waves of cyber thoughts. No need for cell phones, they speak through saw palms. It's nothing for alarm, chips and forearms.
Wind, brass, and bass, such a beautiful serenade. Women feeding me grapes, I'm feeding the enemy serenades. Whether the sky is clear or gray, rain when you hear a fake, giving life to seed. Speaking through who not here today. Show you the future in a glimpse. Then always look to these holes like hallucinatory pimps. Sun walked the desert, been Marvin since I found God. Look back, used to see his prince. Forget being a prince, I'm a G. OD, grown man, no Jody, deny it, you don't know me. Don't make me tap into the old me. That's like a couple hundred years. Walk around town with a couple hundred peers and release the peace of up fears. The sun gon' shine, so what tears? This young brother here just trying to get his third eye clear.
This deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack. This deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash.
Yeah.
Real life rap,
Yeah.
spitting over tracks.
Yeah.
Conscious thinking and living and then attack.
So as the moon sets, the sun takes its place and spoons on blocks, inspired spots, filled spaces, peel back, rats, who got cases, fire stain the corridors of flammable faces, game changers, rule benders and no pretenders, style lenders, channel my vibe through the vibrant optic lenses, send a message to our veterans, soldiers up and get it in, we on our verge, we on merge, subliminal beings, third eye seeing, still a participant unwilling.
They wanna break me, shake, bake, grade me, rolling with my main G, double O-M-B, S-O-N is crazy. For a minute that you think you could take me for a fool like a native to his land, being schooled by a foreign dude. You've mistaken me, spiders on the roof, in the dark tools, have you saying you've mistaken me? You better move or I mark it, power pin is my tongue, your existence to target, revealing all lies and deceit on the market. Genocide, carry around in pockets, I knock it down, bulldozer. David to Goliath, it's an exposure. Have some big cats ruling and it's getting closer to your downfall. Round up all your soldiers.
Little homie, I was seeking a fortune, tired of misfortune. I just wanted a portion, everything that I never had, though I needed my portion. Blowing like porcelain, haters cracking as porcelain. Getting broke, tired of being broke. How we acquire hope is a DJ skill as a dope, just to keep us afloat. Mind as deep as the boat, brain is a lethal weapon. We one need to elope. When I speak, I provoke. Walk in the room with my aura feeling like heavy smoke. Feel like when the levee broke under my Louis Vuitton to semi-poke. Cause dirty cops are killing boy, yeah, the joke. The cost of living, higher profits in private prison. These little girls are selling bodies just to pay tuition. These little niggas selling niggas just for bail condition. It's like the slavery never ended with the intermission. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and me one plan. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and one plan.
Raka, North Star.
That way, and North Star's that way. Canaanland moves.
Read off, we pay every day. Uplift the V, cause we all base. We enforce the law, and we obey. Forefathers from before and still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Universal laws in more ways. Read 4 chapters, receive it 4 ways. Great divine love rules our verse. Before I circle blocks, man, I circle sevens first. You bust the image, but your rhymes hurt. Declare 13 disrespected earth. Love, but it's all in God's plan. Today's mathematics don't judge a man. Unity of life, embodiment of truth. I'm responsible for every deed, cause I seen the proof. No, but Drew X, do I have to draw it out for you? Cause nationality is not a color I can use. Jerry Spruce, standing on my square, even without shoes. On the highest authority, spirit of blue,
Marcus Garvey, whirlwind ×2. The world's in the wind when the trumpet blew.
Stand up, go into your bathroom. If you got a big floor to ceiling, cut the light on and stand and take a good hard look at yourself. You are the worst government. You know, and it took me a long time to get to understand that concept. I self-law am master. If I can govern myself, if I can govern my household, that's what I should be doing. Why should I walk out of my door and then leave everything that I know about myself in the house to go out and adopt something that I have no knowledge thereof? It makes no sense. So we need to stop asking that question. I ask myself this question: if not me, then who?
Death and wisdom, my friends, intelligent creatures, guardians of sacred knowledge, Olmec features, secrets of the afterlife, manifest the present day. Dirty mortals and scoundrels lose their heads in a pleasant way. Deceit and deception, negative past thoughts, keeps awareness on point. Spirit messages never off. Inner realizations, encounter the higher selves. Next plane existence explains my consistence. Without a foe, you never know, so paths most resistant. Divinity, my twin flame, side chick and mistress, metaphysic, kabbalistic, almaroc mystic, patriarch, papistics, make my thoughts sadistic, so indigenous, call me Americanistic, invoking the ancestors, Cyrus and cryptic, suns on rotation, flows ecliptic, shatter all illusions, reveal the realistic, sitting in the dark, holding the light marvelous, recognize the artifice, skin so carbonous, hair so antenna, I feel them from Vienna, myriad of virtues, lessons, and reptilian henna. Enlightenment seekers won't find it in mainstream. Focus as a laser, stay balanced like a beam. Not even a gymnast. Whenever I flip this, as above, so below. Get out when within this. Don't think I'm a slave, cause I speak in English. Drew Ali the water, watch your flames get extinguished. Living in your higher, lower self is relinquished. Reputation of master teachers, call it distinguished.
Islam, third Thursday. Guess what? Third Thursday. Third Thursday. What we say? We always get the best days, huh, Miss?
Always, bro. Like it's on autopilot. Like, yo, I can't even like even if we was to look to a day where it'd be like, all right, it's no real quote unquote history to acknowledge on this day. It's also like, oh snap, we made history on this day. So I had to say, yo, first and foremost, congratulations, because y'all became champions. You know, the school that you deal with and the youth that you work with, or even on a microcosm level, but it's still macro because y'all became champions today. Y'all clinched a win. You know what I'm saying? In the competition is, and you are a part of real societal work. No matter how they try to label Moors or whatnot, you're doing the good work, brother. So you know what I mean. You know, you made history on this day, and first and foremost, before we even get into anything, I want to say publicly, as I said privately, congratulations. Keep doing your thing with the youth. I don't know if at this point in time, you know, that they may recognize how graced that they are to actually be in contact with a true and living a true and living Moorish American. You know what I'm saying? But I know that that's valuable right now. And they may not even know, like, even when we were younger, when I was younger, and we were doing things in the community that weren't necessarily the best they weren't the best things to do, but the elders in the community looked out for us and made sure that we had a course correction when they could have had us in situations where we were prosecuted at 15, 16 years old. But these elders, no matter what they declared their nationality to be, they were Moors, but they also knew they seen themselves in us while we were young and reckless. And while they had a chance to nail us to the cross, proverbial cross, quote unquote, they didn't. They looked out for us because they seen themselves in us being young and maybe even a little misguided. And so I want to say acknowledgement to you, Cujo, and everybody on your squadron, all the Canaanland Moors. Congratulations for winning the championship. Because even as a youth basketball player, again, I can't emphasize this enough. They may not even at this moment in time realize how special the elders in their lives are, right? Like when I was young, we did some stupid stuff, and the elders still protected us from the stupid stuff that we did. And it took me from my teenage years till I was in my early 20s to be able to say, hey, thank you, because there was no real harm intended. There was no real foul intended. This was just the only spot we deemed suitable to do what we wanted to do. Even though y'all could have did something in response to that to have us labeled so many different things. And so at this moment in time, I don't want to make this about me. I just want to emphasize how I could relate to the fact that my brethren, Cujo, Adwo L, Canaanland Moors, are active with the youth and guiding them towards winning on any level, whether it's a substantive personal victory, a collective team victory. It really means something to the youth. And I want to say and emphasize again, they may not even know right now how important, the wisdom of the elders being in their lives actually is, or how valuable it is, until maybe they're in their 20s and be like, yo, coach, we won that championship. You know what I'm saying? We did that. We did this. You looked out. And so I can't stress it enough, man, that to my brethren Cujo, you know what I mean? Your activity in your community and your efforts to the nation, and not just the nation, but the globe. Like, we could pull up references of you talking and building with Moors from all over the planet. You know what I'm saying? How valuable that is, whether people agree or disagree with you. But, that's a sidebar. But I just want to say for sure, congratulations, bro. Because the work, the effort, the commitment, the connection to the youth, they could be out there doing anything right now. They could be out there doing anything right now. But in some way, directly or indirectly, you are a part of keeping them focused on winning and competing. And I think that's just something that is so valuable in our Moorish community. Some people will say Black communities. You and I and most of our peoples in the chat know what's really good with the slave brand of Black. But what I'm saying is you're doing the work regardless. And so that on its own merit deserves some sort of respect. Um I hope and I trust, even one day y'all all get to hold a trophy made out of original, you know what I'm saying, real metals, valuable metals, whether they call it gold, silver, whatever it is, but that's secondary. The real work is the energy, the effort, and you don't come to winning without work and effort. So the fact that there's no laziness associated with you, the fact that we can associate you today with winning or being a part of a winning culture, even in high school basketball, it may not be as highlighted as an NBA championship, but it's the same thing essentially because y'all put the work in. And so, my good brother, I just want to say again, I can't emphasize enough the congratulations I'm sending y'all. And I'm thankful and also substantively proud to say that I know a brother like you for putting in this type of work. And I can't even imagine how the youth that actually was out there balling feels right now. You know what I'm saying? To have had actually won on this particular day. I mean, I'm sure I understand, but they probably are on next level right now because they put in the work and stay dedicated and stay disciplined and sacrifice maybe even some personal habits to stay dedicated to the ultimate mission of winning the championship this season, bro. So you know what I mean? From a very close distance or far distance, however people look at it, I want to say congratulations to y'all because winning the championship is never a light thing on any level. You know what I mean? It takes work and dedication. And so I want to ask you, man, how you feel about it. But I gotta also ask, man, did you have the youngins out there running suicide drills? I mean, was that a part of the hard work that paid off? Like I remember when I was playing football and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? The thing that I couldn't stand about the coaches the most is when they had us running suicide drills on the football field. And for those who may not know what suicide drills are, that means you start at the end zone, you run to the 5-yard line, and then run back to the touchdown or the goal line. Then you run to the 10-yard line, run back to the goal line or the end zone. Then you run to the 15-yard line, run back to the end zone. 20-yard line, run back. You got to do this all the way until you get to the other end zone. You got to keep going back to go forward. What like I mean, like what do you was there ever a moment where you was like, okay, this lesson that we are giving them may be the one that pays off? Like, yeah, it's annoying that you can't just run straight into the other end zone. You got to go back and forth, back and forth. And the further you go forward, the more you got to go back. The further you go back, the more you got to go forward. Like, what do you have to say about the process? If that's not too much to ask, is there anything on that note, or we're just gonna bask in the glory of the work paying off for the win? I don't mind either way. I just know, you know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever had those moments where you're like, this hard-headed one gonna get this lesson one way or another? You know what I mean? Like, how was that?
Well, first of all, we come from a generation where we had that. You know what I mean? We had coaches and we had suicides and it was brothers from the block. You know, it was community people. It wasn't some far off somebody traveling, you know what I mean, how much ever million miles to be here. Just people who you see every day, all day, you know. And like you're saying, we had the men that, whether we listened to them or didn't listen to them or whatever like that, some of the stuff that they said actually stuck. You know, on top of like fathers and all that stuff, we're talking about, you know, community people. You know what I mean? That one man in the community that everybody knows, and he's just a good a good man. You know, we all had those things. So a lot of it is implementing those things when dealing with the youth, because I know from being around them that they don't have that. You know, their elders are goofs too, right? Their elders are going to give them wrong advice or whatever like that. You know, so it's about being a example, like just being an example of how we're supposed to be engaging these individuals, right? And like you're saying, it's about a conditioning of knowing that you're always winning. Even if you're losing, you're winning, because you're going to learn something from the loss. So the last 3 years, this team been to the finals and lost by a buzzer beater. When you're talking about, you know, what they've gone through and all that, right? So this is generations of individuals making it to the last dance and it losing by a buzzer beater, right? All those dudes graduate. The next level up, they're coming in, right? So there's been a lot of loss, but all those were learning things for the next individual. So by the time I got to these ones, you know what I mean, that they came through the ranks and seen these individuals losing the finals 3 times by buzzer beaters, you know, they were going in with, we're winning this year from the beginning of the year before they played their first game, right? So some of the things that we did to, because it was myself and another teacher that's coaching, and then he still plays ball right now, you know what I mean, and he's looking at it like I'm looking at it, that hey, they on the court, they don't do the old school stuff that works, screen, cut, you know what I mean, box out. Nobody does this right now. Nobody does this. Everybody has this way of playing that isn't really how you're supposed to play the game for real, right? When you talk about them changing rules and all that stuff, you could do this, people could travel now and all types of madness, right? So by the time it got to these ones, it was 2 of them were on the team that lost last year by the buzzer beater, and then they went to the city semifinals and lost to a buzzer beater then. right. So they've been at a chip on their shoulder for about 4 years. They had a chip on their shoulder. You know, they had a monkey on their back, and monkey got pummeled today. Monkey got pummeled. Monkey didn't stand a chance today staying on the back. It's not happening today, you know. And again, going back to the coaching thing with, you know, what it is that we make them do. You know, well, you know, all your misses are suicides. All your mistakes, all your turnovers are suicides. And you learn very fast that you don't want to turn over the ball, because who wants to do suicides?
Facts.
and when people do miss or whatever like that, they're getting yelled at, they're getting cussed out or whatever like that. We got to be telling them like, yo, no, you can't. There's a level, you know what I mean, to the, you know, there's a level. You can't just cuss your teammate out. You know, that's still your teammate or whatever. So, you know, some of the things sort of went overboard, you know, so because you know, there's some individuals who they're not players. They just made it on the team because they were the best out of what was left, you know. And even ones like them who they never maybe really took sports serious ever, they're a champ right now. You know, so all these other generations of individuals also too, the lesson of you know, being a leader and the individual personal lessons also happen. You know, so the star player, for example, today, he came to me and he said, man, I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do today, and everybody else can do whatever they want to do. Because I know that we could win this thing or whatever. You know, I know we could win this thing.
Facts.
You know, like I know we could win this thing, but I don't know. The team's just. So I told him, well, yo, this is your chance to take that leadership position. This is the chance to take that leadership position. You're the man. You've been proving yourself all year. So here's what you do. You're gonna tell us, the coaches, to leave the locker room so you can talk to the team by yourself and just say whatever you got to say, you know.
Sheesh.
And I don't know if they did that because I wasn't, you know, like when we automatically, because we got to the game crazy early. So after we had our talk in the locker room, we just left. The coaches just left. So we don't know what they talked about in there, right? But they came out and it was maybe 12-2. This is on their home court. Right? And then keep in mind, this team was our one loss for the year, and then they had this thing that they wanted to go 8-0 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? From the beginning, they're like, "Yo, we're going 8-0," and then they were 6-0, and then this team came in their home court and beat them on their home court. So they were a little pissed about that, you know. So the same team that they lost to, they beat them. It was tied in the half, and then in the last quarter, they just, you know, they did their thing. Everybody cussed everybody out for the stuff that they're not doing, and then everybody went out there and did what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't even, you know, when you know, looking at it, the congratulations is really for them. You know what I mean? Because we've been taking teams to the finals. This ain't nothing that like. This is just the school basketball senior thing from back in the day to now. Is you're going to finals or something.
Mm-hmm.
See what happens at finals. You know what I mean?
Fact.
So yeah, so they ended up winning by like 15 or something like that.
Okay.
Because it was just they were just, you know, in tune. And then the other ritual that we did was when we found out that we were in the playoffs, we had the all the different brackets, you know. So we had quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, and if they win, whoever's the head scorer or whatever gets to get the big red marker and scratch out the thing. Right, so we had it on the wall in the gym. So when they beat the semifinals, dude came with his marker. I think he had like 25 and something like that. Cash guy signed the thing like, yeah, okay, you know, the next bracket. You know? Mm-hmm. Almost lost in the semifinals, won by 2 points. Won by 2 points in the semis, but that was because we were missing one of our best players, and he came like at the half or something.
Mm-hmm.
He came at the half. Because, and then another story, because he's doing co-op. And his co-op, he can't leave because it's a trade.
Hold on. Before we go on,
yeah.
When you say he's doing co-op, what does that mean?
Oh, co-op means through the school, he has like an apprenticeship.
Okay.
for whatever work that he's looking to get into.
Got you.
So because his apprenticeship is that serious, he can't, like he came late for that one game because he was at co-op, and he got off when he got off, and by the time he got to the game, half of it was done. So he only played half, you know what I mean? And he missed today's game because of co-op. You know what I mean? So they were even playing for him because he wasn't able to be there or whatever. So it was on multiple different levels. It was destined, you know what I mean, that this thing had to happen, but it's really a testament to them, and that youth could be inspired to be great. You know what I mean? They could actually be inspired to be great. And you ain't got to talk Moorish to them all the time or whatever like that. Just give them some applesauce and an apple, and they'll do whatever you want.
Facts. Hey, listen, I gotta ask. I got two more questions. I know tonight we're gonna get into correcting Black history. At the same time, I don't want to overlook the fact that we're actually making Moorish history still to this day. And I love sports. I still observe sports and whatnot. And being as though a congratulations is due to you and other staff mates and teammates for being active in the community, and for the youth out there who are actually doing the work, playing and competing. I just want to say this because I see when I watch basketball today, like there's a lot of star players who stay injured off of like simple injuries. It could be something like their ankle was twisted. And I remember, and I don't know if I may be telling my age, but I recall when there were high top Air Force Ones with the straps on the back. So when it was time to ball, you could literally strap your shoes up and ball. And then they came out with the low top ones. But we never balled in low top Air Force Ones. And again, I don't think they're the best sneaker at this particular time, but I see that they're resurfacing. There's a lot of skits and things about black Air Force Ones versus white Air Force One sneakers. And I remember where there was the high top joints. Like I remember I had the white and blue joint. Like, and I look at it today and I'm like, yo, when I see a lot of NBA players playing basketball getting injured, they are wearing low top sneakers. I just gotta ask, bro, because y'all won a basketball championship for whatever it's worth on any level. Is that something y'all stress to the youth? Like, don't show up to practice or ball game in low top sneakers. Like, do you think that has any effect on ballers today? Or am I reaching? Like, cause we never, even if we were scrubs didn't show up in low top sneakers. Maybe I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts, if I could ask, on balling, playing basketball in low top sneakers versus high top sneakers? Or do you think it makes no difference at all?
I think in this day and age, it makes no difference at all, because that's the only option, low cuts. Like they might have a 3/4 cut, but like something high, you're not really getting those shoes. You're getting low cuts. I was never a fan of it. I don't know what the ratio is with people getting injured now versus back then, wearing high cuts. But I see it and I'm scared all the time. just by looking at it. It's like, wow, all these guys have actually are wearing low cuts right now. But you know, we had no injuries this year. You know, actually we had one. The junior team, we had one. We had one injury, and it was ankle. But you know, one out of 30. That's not you know, bad odds. You know what I mean? But I never understood. Like, even if I go out there now running with them, I got high cuts. I'm not even playing around with low cuts on. You know? And that could be a mind thing, you know, because of the generation that we're from. Like, hey, that's the thing you protect most, your ankles, you know, and your knees. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have your knee, whatever, if you need that. You're gonna have your ankle. You're gonna have your brace. You're gonna have your wrap. You're gonna have your high cuts, because it's about protecting the ankles. You know, and I don't even blame KD. I blame Kobe, actually. I think Kobe brought those low cut stuff, you know, and then he ruptured his stuff.
Right. Yeah. No, it's something to be said about that.
Right.
Yeah, it's something to be said about that. And the Kobe is, to me, top 5. I know it's not about sports and whatnot, but it is, just as, you know, we're talking about this. Definitely Kobe was great.
Yeah.
But I've never seen, and I could be wrong, and you know, but I never seen somebody get injured or injured their ankle, let me say that, or anything leg related in a pair of Charles Barkley's. And if anybody got any Barkley's, you know how tight them things fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're high top. And I just never seen it. Like, when I see, pardon me, when I see AD getting injured in his ankle, I look at the footage and they're wearing low tops.
Yeah. Ankle on the ground when you twist your shit. Ankle touching the ground.
Fact.
You know? And then the other thing too, I remember too, just as you said that with the high tops, right? With the high tops, if you get the twist, you're liable to just shake that off or walk it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but I rather that. I rather the high cuts. I'm not playing around with that low cut stuff.
Right. If you balling. Yeah. For sure. So yeah, again, congratulations. I'm glad we had a segment to talk about that. Here we are again, third Thursday. And again, I can't stress the congratulations enough. Oh, hold on. Before we transition, I do gotta ask this. Have you ever looked at one of the players that you coach or assistant coach to and be like, yo, that young man, that young brother, he has the skills, he could go all the way. Like, he could go to the NBA. Have you ever coached anybody you saw that potential in?
No, not that level. Not that good. Not that good. But on a level where, you know, they could win their high school championship, yeah. I've seen ones like that could get to that level, that maybe, you know, he grows a 5 inches over the next couple summers. Then yeah, I'll say the man who we had today, you know, our top scorer today. You know, but he's big for people in his age group, but he's not, you know, Zion in high school taking off from the free throw line on people or whatever. You know, but he's gonna get his 30 a game, easy, just because he's that good for his level. You know, He's that good for his level.
Facts.
Yeah.
See that. Oh man, hold on. Listen, we promise we're gonna get into correcting some quote unquote black history, but I gotta say this in the comments. Somebody said, hold on, let me read this. Sir Bay said, Barkley. I'm reading this as sarcastic, but he says Barkley. He might as well say Shaq shoes. OMG. Like, listen. Shout out to my mom. When I was young, she used to do her best to, you know what I mean, like provide the things that I like. Um, I don't know why. I guess it was social standards at that time. Going to school, public school. If we taking a trip through memory lane and whatnot, and acknowledging the youth, um, I never wanted a pair of Shaq shoes. Real talk. And you know what's crazy, bro? Like, I didn't, bro. I didn't. I never wanted a pair of Shaq shoes.
Nobody.
Yeah. And the crazy part is too, I never wanted a pair of Jordan shoes.
Yeah.
I did get some, but I never wanted no Jordan shoes. And the reason that I didn't is because everybody else in school had them joints. So I'm like, I don't like. This is before they started introducing uniforms into public schools. I'm like, I don't want to wear the same thing everybody else has on. Like, that's real talk. Like, I don't want to wear these black and white Jordans. Like, there's 30 people I go to school with that these sneakers. I don't like the uniformity. Like, I like the commonality. I don't like. I don't want to wear the same thing. And then so as I was going through those school years, I recall they started introducing uniforms into public schools, into certain public schools, right? Because earlier when I was going to school, the only students that had to wear uniforms were Catholic school students. Like, everybody else could just wear whatever they wanted to wear, right? And I'm talking, we in the second, third, fourth, fifth grade. You know what I mean? And there was no school uniform. But even back then, I didn't want Jordans or Shaqs because I'm like, and I don't even want to say everybody has Shaqs, but
Shazam!
A lot of people had Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Yo, who they talking to, Cujo? Yo, look. What? Stop it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I want to salute my brother Sean, my real brother Sean, because he taught me what was the alternative fly in the sense of Air Maxes, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, these Air Max, everybody ain't got these, you know what I mean? Like, these Air Max. And so that's where I kind of gravitated to pull my sneaker style from. Was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, like real talk. And the pennies was the high tops, the Barclays as well. But I just know that my liking and my style of rocking Air Maxes, I seen it around me, but my brother showed me how to really do that. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's older than me by 6 years. So I don't know. I just feel like if we talking balling, there's a time to wear high tops and there's a time to wear low tops. And that's what I was trying to ask you about. You know, people balling in high tops in low tops. Like, I really do and I've said this years ago, that I think that that's an issue when it comes to balling hard. You know what I mean? And when it comes to balling hard.
But again, you know, it's the generational thing, because you know they're not unless they're they're a Kyrie or something like that, and even his shoes are high cut. He doesn't wear those low cut shoes, you know. But majority of players, they're playing outside. They don't play inside like that. You know, where they got to worry about turning their ankle or something. You know, everybody's playing this outside thing.
Right.
There's no going in like that, you know. You know, but again, too, with the whole thing with the generations, you know, it's become a thing. Just like it's become a thing now that 7-foot guy is gonna shoot a three. You know,
that's crazy.
You would, you know, a 7-footer in the 90s might take a three. You know, unless you have like Manute Bull or something like that, shooting threes, 7 foot shooting threes just to show you, you know. But it's a generational thing. The low cuts is that's what's out. That's what's pushed. That's what's promoted. So that's what people are gonna gravitate to. You know what I mean? And those who know, like you're saying, that have the you know know-how are gonna, you know, try to find something that they can play it that's comfortable for them. You know, not the norm. You know, not just go get some Kobe's because you like Kobe or whatever. You know, you want something that fits right, that feels right, that, you know, you're not just styling out there. You know, shoes help with the performance. If not, everybody would be playing barefoot if it was like that. You know.
Right. Fact.
When somebody was saying in the chat earlier, I didn't have to go Coach Carter or Joe Clark or nothing like that on them. They weren't that bad. They weren't that bad. You didn't have to go all out. They listened enough that we didn't have to go too hard.
Facts. Hey, look. I mean, we almost an hour in. I just want to say, we get into anything, you know, as far as Moorish history yet. But I mean, the fact that we speaking on aspects around y'all making history tonight, I feel like every minute thus far is worth it, bro, because we gotta celebrate and acknowledge, you know, the times that we do win, whatever that win is in life. You know what I mean? A personal small win, a global win, a community win, you know what I mean? A team, a tribe win. Like, you know, these are, those are milestones. So I trust and I hope y'all all enjoy that level or that feeling of being victors in y'all endeavors, not victims, but victors. Y'all won. You know what I mean? And that is something to acknowledge straight like that. Yeah, it means just like that.
Yeah.
And so, so I mean, if we're gonna shift it a gear and take it into the political realm, I would say first and foremost, thank God, thank Allah that we know about etymology, what they call Black History Month is, you know, known as that. But I think there's, if I'm not mistaken, it's like for every other month of the year now, every so-called culture or ethnicity has a month of the year. So I don't see it as something exclusive at this point. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's a Latino month in like summertime. They got a rainbow month around that same time. I don't feel that it is something sacred like that anymore. Like, because any culture could get a month at this point. just looking at it. And again, I just want to say I understand, and I overstand that Negro, Black, Colored, African American, these are not actual specific nationalities, though they may be used as descriptions in these days and times for commoners. And when I say commoners, I'm not saying we're better than anybody else. I'm saying that, some people commonly identify more as that. Um, but the fact that they correlate February with so-called Black History, right? Month, let me say that. When you look at the etymology of words and then the creator that we have been exposed to that science of words, etymology, February actually means the purification month, right? Like February, the word itself, whether you apply it to a month or whatnot, just the word February means purification, right? And so we see that on many levels. And I just, to move forward, but also acknowledge where we started, the fact that you were saying, yo, this team, they've had a chip on their shoulder for 3 to 4 years and have lost in the couple of ones prior to by buzzer beaters, let's just say. I would even give acknowledgement to this year, this month, they purified that. You know what I mean? Like they purified that because they were like, we're not losing again. So I just see that there's certain moments in time that is special about this month. Um, some people call it Black History, whatnot, but there's an energy with it because the next time we're gonna have this type of session, we will be in the spring season. So everything has to be purified before it changes. And the fact that even those brothers purified the mentality to go out there and win. You know what I mean? I just feel like the real aspect is the purification. And the fact that we know, and we've said this before, but white and black are not really nationalities. They're not true identifiers, right? And this is not our own teaching. Like this is what Noble Drew Ali was telling us, is that white means purity. And we're not talking about people, we're talking about the word itself, right? And so let us not be confused or misunderstood to be like, oh, we're saying the lighter skinned people are better. No, right? Like there are many things that are white that are not people. I never seen people that are white. But if we were going to look at a perspective of clarifying history, I think we have to really understand those words. You know what I mean? Like even if someone was to say, I want to win, what does that mean? Even if we were to say this is the month of February, what does that mean? Right? And so I don't know, pardon me, I don't have it to pull up, but we were building earlier on um Absalom Boston, right? And his uncle Prince Boston, and how these were Moors who they labeled African and Indian and whatnot, but they were fighting a freedom fight in the Massachusetts area, and how Absalom Boston actually 100 years before Brown versus Board of Education sued a municipality in Massachusetts and was combating the aspect of this Moorish child not being able to participate in an institution of learning or a school. So he sued the municipality and actually won that case. You know what I mean? And I look at this and I'm like, and the reason that, and salute Cool Joe, for pulling it up for those who are watching on the Canaanland Moore's YouTube page. You know what I mean? But I find it interesting that he had the same educational suit against a municipality, right? And won that case in Massachusetts, to allow his daughter to attend a specific school 100 years before Brown versus Board of Education. And again, let me just emphasize, I seen this brother's image when we went to the National Museum of quote unquote African American History and Culture in DC. And for those who are tuned in, y'all know I did a documentary about that, but there's other parts to it. And while endeavoring to go through that place, I came across this. And yeah, I just wanted to say that the fact that there's so much history tied to these Moors, right, dealing with the region that they now call so-called New England, I just thought it was unique, you know what I mean, or something to really highlight dealing with that history, because him and his uncle sued for freedom and actually won. The first Moors to sue for freedom in yeah, pulling up the article, I appreciate it. The first Moors to sue for freedom in a U.S. jury trial and win. And this was in the 1700s. So I just wanted to highlight the fact that, like, yo, if we're going to correct, quote, Black history, we know Black is not a nationality. However, when they describe this man's origins, they refer to his mother as an indigenous Moorish woman and his father as an African man, or, you know, so when you look at his ancestry for real, according to his biography, you know, it's like, okay, we know this is a Moor because David McRitchie already gave us the information in Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1, about the Moors of so-called New England. And so whenever I hear Massachusetts, Boston, Maine, Rhode Island, all that area, I already know, that there's a Moorish history and there's a reason why they call it New England. But the fact that the so-called Old England is still to this day has a Moorish dance as their national anthem, that there would be a certain respect for Moors in that region, if nowhere else. Not that Moors should act wild or do stupid things and make stupid decisions, but the fact that there's a Moorish history in the so-called New England area, I feel like that was something worthy to highlight in these times, because, this brother, quote unquote, Absalom Boston, and we know Boston is what they call today New England and Massachusetts, and they was there fighting in the 1700s, and not just fighting, but won U.S. jury trials for freedom and wages and indiscrimination. I just wanted to highlight that more. I don't want to extend it too much in this particular format, but I definitely wanted to highlight it. If there was anything you wanted to add on from, just previously checking it out, we could build from there.
Islam. I think part of the whole concept of the correcting the Black history is introducing, people, places, things that have never really been touched on. You know, when we put it together with all the other things that we know, we realize that majority of individuals were competent. You know, they were law abiding. You know, him taking that position of suing, that's not a black thing. You know, it's like it's not. We see a lot of individuals dealing with the whole thing of they're the only Moor somewhere, and it's so hard for them because they can't relate to anybody that's around them because they're quote unquote black, right? But then we look at these individuals and they're doing things that blacks don't really do. You know, they're doing things that it as if they're Moors. When we look at the activity that Moors do today, and then we look at back then. You know, and then the activity that Moors do today, and we look at back then. You know, why is it in this time that you have a suppression of these people doing these activities? Because majority of the narrative is teaching you about some nigger stuff. Majority of the black narrative is teaching you about you're some slave. When we even go to the quote unquote black inventors, and you look around your house and you see, hold on a second, like our people actually made everything that we have right now. That anything that you have, that you see, it came from our people. The idea, to have the mindset to say we're going to challenge segregated schools, right? We're going to challenge this and win.
100 years before Brown versus Board of Education, no.
And win.
You
know, it sounds like precedent to me. And even for Moors, because like I said, you don't hear black guys suing. They're gonna go get a lawyer.
Facts. And right. Yeah, and he initiated that case for his daughter going to school, but then his uncle. That's why I was saying, like, yo, this sound like a free Moorish family to me, considering all aspects of the history. Like his uncle's appellation, like real quote unquote name, was Prince Boston, right? And this is a Moorish family, or so-called black, or so-called African American. This is a family. His uncle sued for his wages and freedom. He sued his former master in the 1700s for his wages and freedom, and won, and was the first to win in a U.S. jury trial. His wages and freedom. And I'm like, yo, that sound like what that is precedence. Like, I don't care what nobody say. Like, that was the first free. I respectfully say free. There may have been assumptions that they were slaves, which is why they sued in the first place, because he sued for freedom and wages from his former master. So what was his master doing with his finance? And you know, that's another discussion, because from his own labor, he was entitled to his wages. And so, I mean, that sounds like something familiar. I won't say, because they're going to start labeling this video with tag at the bottom. But for Moors who know, you know, if somebody goes back and sues their quote unquote former master for wages, what that translates to modern day. Who's taking your wages? All right, so enough said on that. They did that back then and said, nah, my money is my money. It ain't yours. In the 1700s, late 1700s, 1800s, got their children to go to wherever school they wanted to go. You know what I mean? Pre Brown versus Border education. Before that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, because they're talking about the area of the free Moors in Massachusetts, right? Shout out to Hakeem Bey, for the real Hakeem Bey, Heroes of Moors paradigm, for highlighting, these concepts of Moors, free Moors in North America, in the area that's called New England, whatnot, and David McRitchie, right? But these free Moors were fighting for anything that opposed freedom back then. And I thought that Mum Beth was the first to sue for her freedom and win. But if you really look at both of them, Elizabeth Freeman and Absalom Boston, like if you really look at that, one was on the state level, one was on the federal level, because Absalom Boston and his family and them, they won in U.S. jury trials, right? While Mum Beth or Elizabeth Freeman won on state levels. And so that's why I was like, yo, hold on. They say both of them are the first to sue and win their freedom, but they were on two different levels. Because if we're going to talk Moorish history, or so-called, and I emphasize so-called Black history, you have to understand that it involves everything that the Europeans are doing started with Moors. And even if you don't want to take that statement raw, like, pause, but it's not real talk. If you just look at the history, it started with the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between Morocco and the United States, right? And so that's where, as far as the United States is concerned, so-called, shall I say, so-called, no, but for real fact, Moorish history, that is so-called Black history, starts with them as far as operating here. And so I'm just saying that to say this. Look, love is a principle. It doesn't discriminate. It is what it is. But as far as Moorish history or so-called Black history, and even what we all striving for today, which is absolute freedom, unencumbered by opinions, views, unnatural statues, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Freedom is a principle. And I just say that out of the five, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, the fact that these brothers and these sisters and these elders and these mothers, ancestors already had sued on these principles of freedom in the 1700s. It is not something I think we should take lightly. Don't take me, you know what I'm saying, as the source. Go do the research for yourself and see, like, you know what I mean? Like, these are real stories, not even stories. These are real historical facts. This is documented history and congressional records as well. I can't even elaborate on the volume of how important that was, that the brother sued for his freedom and wages. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that his nephew sued for getting his daughter into a school in the 1700s, 1800s, excuse me, way before Brown versus Border education. And You know what I mean? I don't want to overemphasize that, but I think as far as correct Moorish history, if we were to take this analysis of this historical actions of this family, right? Because it wasn't just one person of the family that was a black sheep. Like his family was on it. They were always suing for freedom. Like that's what they were doing in the 1800s, right? And I can't stress if there's nothing else, that binds us all together, even knowing that we are in fact Moorish Americans, is love. The five principles is love, peace, freedom, and justice. So when I hear about freedom suits like that, I feel like that is a part of what we're supposed to be knowing about. Because freedom is one of the five principles. And to this day, there are still people out there who are trying to impede on that. And so we don't lose those principles just because it's today. Like, it happened more evidently at a certain point in time. But to this day, we still have to stand on that, whatever that means to you. But these are real natural law aspects, natural law. And so freedom, equality, equity, law, all that, you know what I mean, is something we should be standing on. They were standing on that back then. That's what they were standing on. How did you know what I mean? Like they were standing on that. You know what I mean? And that is what to be acknowledged, is that principle of freedom.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you write them in the history books. Or his mother was an Indian, his father was an African. When you know Moorish history, you know they're one and the same, first and foremost. You know what I mean? And again, that's why I said shout out David McRitchie again for clarifying that.
And what we find interesting too was that even his mom was Wampanoag, and then his dad's name was Seneca.
Right.
But they say he's African or whatever like that. But his name's Seneca.
Fact.
Right? Now, they're a family, going back to this thing about, the correcting the Black history, right? They're family who were crew on a whaling ship in the 1700s. Not only were they crew on the whaling ship, but Absalom Boston was the captain of his own ship with his own crew.
Or more.
Right? His own crew. All Asiatics.
All of them.
All of them.
70.
Right? All of them. So if we're looking at the history of our people, and then all they're talking about is slave narratives, but you have whale ship captains who are suing, not only suing, but suing and winning. Like Prince Boston suing. Now his whole family gets to keep their wages, not just him. Now his whole family gets to keep all their wages. How you think Absalom became the richest man, and why? Why is he the richest and nobody talks about him?
Nobody.
The richest black man or whatever, and nobody's talking about this guy? This 1700s, this is not long ago. And you think there was only one of him?
Definitely
not. There was no way that there was only one of him. No way.
No way. Hey, Cujo. Hey, and the crazy part about it is if we were to look at it in that time frame, where they were active in this particular realm of their highlights and biography, right? He was the captain of a whale ship. He was a mariner. And I always remember mom saying, hey, look, a moor means to moor, like navigate a ship. Like also remember as an action word. As the action word, that's what a moor is, right? As an action, a verb for those, if we're gonna classify it in its different formats. Yes, there's the meaning of moor as a noun, but as an action word, there is navigating the shit, mooring the shit. You know what I mean? The boat left the dock. You hear me? Like, and so I look at that whole situation with Absalom Boston being the captain of a whaling ship, though. Like they were capturing whales. Do you understand what it takes to capture a whale? Like we may not. I mean, there may be some moors out there on the high seas right now, actually mooring, but to capture a whale, bro, let alone capture 70 something whales, right? And in that time, whale oil, like they sell you fish oil today in the capsules, telling you, I think it's vitamin E or whatever it is. Whale oil was so valuable because that's what made things run. Like before transmission fluid, there was motors and engines running off of whale oil. So back to the point you were saying about being very rich, quote unquote, like these brothers worked the earth, worked the planet hard. Like, you know what I mean? It's pause, but I'm saying they were out there capturing whales and didn't lose a member in the crew. These Europeans was losing members in our crew. We don't even understand how they say they got us here from Africa. Like that's still not clarified. But these Moors were out there capturing whales, documented, and was getting wealthy because, again, whale oil was like transmission fluid back then. That's what it was. So there's a science in that. Real talk. And so, yeah, more. I just say that.
And then if you think too, if they're the only ones doing this thing, if the market is controlled by them, whale oil, whale oil. How many people researched and found out about whale oil? And that's something that our people used to do. Go get whale oil. Today was the day when I found out there's even this idea that people go out there to catch whales. Whales. Remember, we're talking about 1700s. We're not talking about right now with whatever it is that they got right now to do it. We're talking about 1700s. They're doing it, mastering this thing.
Facts.
Mastering it.
Yeah. And not losing anybody on the crew that started the voyage. Came back to shore with everybody, the whole crew intact. That is amazing, bro.
Yo, crazy.
Are you kidding me?
Because you sent the thing, and I'm like, whalers? Yeah. These guys had their own boats. Come on.
Facts.
Come on.
Yeah. Peace, more. I don't know. I don't know if you're still speaking, but you just went on mute. I think you muted yourself.
Yeah, I was muted. I muted.
Okay, word.
I just said, come on, and muted.
Oh, for sure. All right, yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, that says so much. And I just feel like, from my analysis of that whole history, no matter how they try to paint them, these are Moors. These were free Moors, bro. Like that, like I mean, they if we don't even call them that, let's say they stood on Moorish principles. Because who sues for freedom? And it's not just who sues for freedom. What is the 5 principles according to Noble Drew Ali? Right? Like, because we have some of our brothers and sisters who are over there and they say that they're standing on what Noble Drew Ali was teaching and we're not, and all this and all that. But it's like, when we look at our history, who was standing on the 5 principles? I don't think it was them who saying that we not. You know what I mean? Like, who sued their former master for freedom and wages? And this is no slight on Noble Drew Ali, because if it wasn't for him, the magnitude of the concept or this fact of history probably wouldn't even hit home as much, because we know what the 5 principles are, and freedom is one of the 5. So if we look back in history prior to Brown versus Board of Education, you mean to tell me there was some free Moors or so-called free blacks who sued and got their daughter into an integrated school in the 1800s? Before, why is this not in any of your school history books? Why didn't we learn this in school? Like, why did I have to go to DC to the African American Museum to even hear about this, brother? Like, what happened? We already know. I don't mean to be rhetorical, but you know what I'm saying? I just see it like, yo, there's principles and then there's words. There's words and there's principles and there's names, and it's like, who's operating off the principles, right? Like, no matter what we call ourselves, the 5 principles is just the 5 principles. We may fall short of those, whatever happens, but that is the 5. That's what we measured off of, is the 5 principles, being Moors or proclaimed Moorish Americans. And when you see anything outside of that, you already know that they're not one principle. So love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I'm just saying that means something to live by, and it may become challenging, but also historically, because those are the principles that prevailed. You know what I'm saying? Those are the principles that prevail and are still available for us to embrace in these days and times. So, yeah, more. I just wanted to acknowledge that. If we're going to correct Black history, quote unquote, I feel like everybody should have the book Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1, because the examples are in there of how we could correlate Moorish history to North America, and specifically in the region that they called today New England. No hate, just historical perspective. And you know what I mean? I stand on that, bro.
I was just thinking about what you're talking about, and I want to reiterate this point. Like, this is 1700s. This is slavery time, right? Isn't it? Isn't this the time of picking cotton and all that stuff?
Allegedly. Yeah.
So this is happening during the time where word on the street is that our people were dumb nigger, they were on a plantation, and that's it. And that's all they were good for. Just being black and just being on a plantation, picking cotton and living in the barn and whatever. the slave master raping the wife and all that stuff, and they're getting lynched. Tell me that's what's going on. But there's these Moors who they got some ships and they're going out hunting whales and all that during the time of so when they come back from selling, when they come back from the whale hunting and they get back to the dock and they're offloading the ship with these 70 barrels of whale oil, who's around them when they're taking this stuff off the ship? Where are they going with it? After they go from the ship, where are they going? They got a warehouse that they're taking this stuff to? Are they going and delivering it directly to, because 70 barrels of anything that's a lot of barrels. 70 barrels. Like, what were they doing on this ship? How are they getting the whale out the water in a barrel? You know what a whale is, right? You know what a barrel is? Well, was this one? Did one whale fill up all the barrels, or were there more than one whale? And like, what is really going on here? During the time of slavery, strange fruit swaying on the trees and all that stuff, and clan running around. Oh my God, they're gonna get you! You got the nigger catchers and slaves running through the bushes or whatever like that. At that same time, guy getting chased through the bushes, there's some Moors taking 70 barrels of whale oil off a ship. And it's just them. Everybody else, they're on a plantation somewhere. These 10 Moors are working on a ship. Just them, nobody else. And then everyone around them is Europeans that they're selling to or something like that. Who they selling all this whale oil to? And then whoever they sell it to, are they coming to pick it up, or do they have to deliver it to whoever wants the stuff?
Yeah, bro, exactly. And yo, this is such a highlight of what we acknowledge Noble Raleigh for saying. If I could just get you thinking again, that's it. That's it. You free yourself. Ask all those questions. All of those is legit, bro. Like, those are legit free thinking questions, bro. Like, and that's what I'm saying. That's why the conversation, the magnitude of it, bro, is like, what were they doing in the 1800s catching whales on boats? But we supposed to have some so-called niggas that didn't know nothing about the new world and sailing. You know what I mean? Like, that's and the contrast of the real history versus what they say it is or is not. You know what I mean? And this is all it is for, is to just get thinking again, bro. Like, real talk, that means a lot. I would say, damn, man, maybe one whale could fill up 70 barrels. Maybe it took a few of them. I don't know. I would imagine. Yeah, the oil whale. Just one. Like, imagine you go out there trying. We try to go fishing and crabbing, and we catch these, and we be happy. Like, yeah, look what I caught today. I caught 3 of them and 2 crabs. You know,
caught a goldfish and you're going off.
Yo, for the teamwork to catch a whale, bro, just one, not a whole whale.
Just catch one whale.
Insane, bro.
Catch one whale.
Insane, bro. Insane.
And don't forget, make the oil out in the ocean
to come back with it. Come on. And that's what I'm saying. We wasn't just on some dumb niggardly, you know what I mean, vibe, and that's what we do. Oh, back then, we, you know what I mean, we was getting busy, bro. building empires and industries and making history. You know what I mean? Like who speaks enough about the actual, you know what I mean, lawsuit of an aspect of integration prior to 100 years before. Brown versus Board of Education successfully won. I from what I've seen on their resume, there is no losses. Like everything they stood on the 5 principles for, they actually won with. Like that part. You know what I mean? Like they sued for freedom. What? You kidding me? And won. Yo, come on.
And you really think only one slave came to their senses and said, hey, I could sue for freedom, and didn't sue? You think only one of them did that?
No.
And how the hell is his name Absalom and nobody's his uncle's name is Prince? What do you mean Prince? What do you mean his name is Prince? He's not the artist formerly known as or whatever.
Talk about it.
How's his name Prince?
Talk about it, bro.
Yeah, someone brought a crazy one in the chat. What if the oil was taken and the whale was left alive?
One. It's all we gotta do to get free, bro, is think about it. You know what I mean? Trying to overtalk, just think about it, bro. You know what I mean? Think about it, sis. Think about it. I live on the East Coast. It bothers me to this day that I see what people would call quote unquote projects, right, on the so-called Jersey Shore, where right across from them is a crazy fishing industry. I mean, we're talking baskets. I don't know the exact measurements, but I would say it's got to be at least a basket 8 times the size in length of a human being, and wide is maybe 12, coming up off the shores with pearls. Oysters and clams, which of course pearls come from those things. But I mean, full to the brim of these big baskets that are like 8 times the size of an average human being, and maybe 12 to 13 human beings wide, right? Like this is huge baskets, and it's right in the face of quote unquote poverty. And I think about Moorish history and so-called Black history because I know it's a misnomer attached to Moors, right? And I consider it all, and I'm like, whichever level you want to look at this on, how they try to write us in history, whether it was back then calling us Negro, Blacks, colors, whether it's today trying to label us sovereign citizens, there was always that principle of freedom to do whatever and make industry from it. And I could see that yo, maybe even the fact that the whales didn't die, because it didn't say they had whale meat for sale. They had whale oil, 70 barrels of whale oil. So that could also be a possibility. And yo, it gets deep, bro. I'm just saying it means so much to me, especially when I think about all the times I've heard my mother say that more as an action word means to navigate the shit. You know what I mean? And just to see Moorish history in that aspect as well, on so many levels, on mad levels. Yeah, more. I don't know. I feel satisfied with highlighting that.
Yeah.
Food for thought. You know what I'm saying?
That was a good highlight. Absalom, Boston. Prince Boston. Yeah. And Seneca, Boston.
All indigenous. Right. Yeah, because I'm sure Boston comes from an indigenous appellation, like many other place names in North America do. You know, we know Miami is a place name today that's utilized. It's actually an indigenous tribe. So I apply that same logic to when I hear Absalom Boston.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's not European. You know what I mean? That's definitely not. Miami isn't a European word. Like that's an indigenous tribe. Boston isn't a European word. That's an indigenous. Anything with new in it might be, but nah. Most of these place names have been that for before the Europeans got here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's real facts, bro. So yeah. Like
Oh yeah, I wanted to play this thing for you and get your thoughts on this, since we're talking about correcting Black history and the narratives and all that. So let me just get this together and play this for you to hear and get your thoughts on this.
As far as the party, we don't think in terms really of black and white. We only think of that when we try to analyze American society, which is a racist society. But we're internationalists, we're anti-racist, we're not even a national chauvinist. As I say, we're internationalists in every sense of the word. Here, our party is composed of blacks simply because of the reality, the cultural reality in the country. I think that if things don't change drastically, it will be bloodshed.
What are the Panthers going to? What part of the Panthers going to have in that?
Well, the Black Panther Party is a force for justice in the name of peace, and we realize that we're shedding blood now. We're being killed. That either by the vicious service revolver of the occupying army, which is the police, who's directed by the avaricious businessman, the lying politician, or we're being killed through the lack of medical care, the lack of funds because of unemployment. We're being killed because of lack of nutrition. So violence can take many forms. I call that violence when our kids are born and they're born with organic brain damages because of the malnutrition. Go also.
Peace more.
Peace more. Wow, I think that brother was spitting all facts. It says I and pardon me, but I'm looking at it. It says to get to know the. I don't have my glasses. The Anti-Racist Party for Justice. She would be the founder of Black Panthers Party for Justice. Yeah, I just want to say he brought out a lot of valid points, but I just want to say from my personal experience, and this was maybe about 2.5 weeks ago, I ran into a brother from the Black Panther Party. And he I know because he had on a jacket and we was building. We was both waiting for our food at a spot. And and we were building for a minute. You know what I mean? And he was talking about a few different things. We were talking about a few different things, but he said he was like, you know, because he brought up something about quote unquote Indians, right? And again, from this clip, this is all facts from my perspective. I may have to watch it again, but I'm just speaking relative to a brother I ran into from the Black Panther Party. And again, let me emphasize, I know because of his jacket.
And sorry, and also to emphasize that this is real time. Like Miz didn't know I'm gonna play this.
Facts.
Like, I was just playing this to get his perspective on it, but he didn't hear this that we're playing.
No.
This is real time right now. Just so you see how the forces are working with the sons of Allah.
Facts. Facts. And so we were building while we both waiting for our orders in this restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And he brought up Indians, like the ones that come from Asia, Indian. And you know, in a way where it was a level of disdain but no hate. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, you know, they come here, they do this, that, and the third. And I'm like, nah, yo, bro, the thing is, they come here on a business tip. That's what they come here to do. I word is bond. This is how it went. I was like, yo, that's what they come here for. And we're talking North America, right? And we're in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And I'm like, this is what they come here to do. He was like, nah, you got to stop talking down on this. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not talking down on this. My question to you is how many people that look like us that you know that own gas stations? And he said, oh, I know one in Camden, New Jersey. And I said, okay, so you had to go all the way to the other side of the so-called state to name one. So I said, how many quote unquote Indian gas stations do you know between here and in Camden? He said about 20. I was like, that's what I mean when I say they come here on a business tip, right? Like you could say, and he got it, like he understood. This was this was like the most coolest, chillest vibe. Like he got where I was coming from. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so if we can name 20 Hindustani gas stations between one side of the region to the other side, and I'm saying that they're here on a business tip, I'm not talking down on our people. I'm observing from a real world perspective. This is what's going on. So he was like, yo, but our intention, I was like, well, he was like, our intention is to get to the bag. I said, well, what's the plan? You know what I mean? And he said, to get to the bag. I said, well, getting to the bag is a goal, but it's not a plan. It's a goal. What is the plan to get to the bag? You know what I mean? And again, he was like, yo, I see what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between a goal, a plan, and activating the plan to get to the goal. So everybody is trying to get to the bag. But what's the plan for everybody to get to it? And this is what we got to think about. So I just want to say that the fact that you played that, and I remember this conversation just happening 2.5 weeks ago, maybe at the most. I just want to say shout out to all of our brothers and sisters out there who may view things different, but a 10-minute conversation may be able to just get us on point. You know what I mean? Or even bring a different perspective to what we already think. So yeah, yo, I just wanted to say that I'm gonna listen to that clip again, bro. But yeah, it was dope that
You wanna hear it again one more time and see if something else hits you?
Yeah, I mean you can bring it back. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that's what immediately came to mind for me.
Right.
But yo, I just had a brief build with a brother in the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? And again, no, like you don't get that jacket from anywhere. You know what I mean? Like you just don't. So salute to him. It was all good. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro, you can run it back if you like.
All right.
Go on another time. Yeah.
As far as the party, we don't think in terms really of black and white. We only think of that when we try to analyze American society, which is a racist society. But we're internationalists, we're anti-racist, we're not even nationalist chauvinists. As I say, we're internationalists in every sense of the word. Here, our party is composed of blacks simply because of the reality, the cultural reality in the country.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
No, I felt you.
yeah. No, real talk. Just that first part right there, like I think that was great. That was beautiful. The fact that he was able to express that in the sense of he made it very clear that he's not distinguishing or identifying as black or white. They're internationalists because at that particular point, I think the message was being lost in the media. Like these are some sort of races when these were brothers and sisters who were standing on principles. If not all five, a few of them. You know what I'm saying? Definitely justice, peace, freedom. You know what I mean? Love, truth, all of that. So I just see from back then to now, there has always been an historical Moorish aspect that has been passed down from generation to generation and even in generations before us. You know what I mean? Like again, people say, "Oh, these Moors of today say they're not black." No, Moors was saying that even before the civil rights era. You know what I mean? During it, after it, before it, they understood that it was a slave brand that was legally used, legally. And it's no hatred against our people. You know what I mean? But the principles are the principles, no matter what we say, right? So, yeah, I think that principally speaking, like the principles he was standing on are definitely to be acknowledged. And I think that at that time, they were going through a media snare, a media smear campaign, like many of the freedom movements do and have been done to over time. You know what I mean? And I feel like when I watched that first part before you paused, I feel like he was clearing concepts on what they really stand for. And he was making it clear. So when he said international, I feel like he clearly understood the basic principles of nationality. Like I feel like that's where the brother was coming from and what he was saying. Right? Like that's what he was trying to say is like we understand nationality, but we're international. So to not even acknowledge black and white as the identifiers from the jump, you know what I mean? Like I feel where he was actually, speaking from, like where he was trying to say. I understand it. I understand what he's trying to say. And not just trying to say, but what he said. You know what I mean? And I get it. I get it, bro. I get it. I know we all get it. You know what I mean? But yeah, that you don't even think. I mean, you could think international, but if you're speaking on international from a political standpoint, I don't think you will really even understand and speak from that concept without understanding nationality first. Like in some degree, before you start talking international, you have to know something about national, like nationality. So, you know what I mean? The fact that he even took it to international.
Yeah, that's what stuck out to me. The fact that he went there. And again, this is the Black Panther Party platform who, if you ask the narrative pushers, they're black guys. and because they're angry black men, that's why they're doing stuff the way they're doing it. No, they're doing it like that because they're internationalists. They're constitutionalists. They have libraries and they read books and apply what they read.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just read just to say they read something or just to say they know something. They're applying it to the point where get these Moors out of circulation. Because we can't have them influencing all these other people to start thinking and reading constitutions and reading international documents. They can't have that. Keep these people stuck in civil rights. How come they never mention civil rights? How come they're going international?
Major.
Why is no one during Black History Month telling you about the internationalists, the constitutionalists, the Black Panther Party? They keep telling you about some Black Power or something like that, as if that's what this was about. This wasn't about Black Power. This wasn't about pretending. This was about real issues and real solutions to correct these issues that our people are going through. El Haj told you, human rights over civil rights. And then they even still play games with him. And they claim they love him. They love him so much, they still call him Malcolm X. When they know he's Malik El. Khalid told them, I'm a Moor. Got sense enough to know I'm a Moor. You think he wasn't a Bay? And that was when he was Black Panther Party. He was Black Panther Party. Think he was talking like that because he didn't know what was up? Nationality is where it's at. You think he didn't study the Black Panthers before him to know that they were constitutionalists and they were right in line with everything that Noble Drew Ali was presenting in the 20s? Panthers were right in line. Enforce the Constitution. You want rights? Enforce Constitution. You got a problem with government? Enforce Constitution. You got a problem with them abusing their power? Enforce Constitution. They're acting like racists and they're doing this and that. Enforce Constitution.
Yeah.
Right in line with what Drew Ali was saying.
Like that.
And why? And again, just like Absalom, why aren't they telling you about this? Why are they not telling you from these perspectives that this is what they were about? Why do they keep you in this thing of you're Black people and you want Black things for Black people? And there's no international talk. There's no humanitarian talk. There's no rights talk. Everything is some privilege. European has to give you something so you could be happy and you could be free or whatever like that. Oh, well, they put us in slavery, so they owe us and all this stuff. How about you just do like other people do? Stop begging. How about you go proclaim a nationality and have everything handed on to you that you deserve?
Well,
Yo,
hold on. I God, you just took me somewhere with that question. I had to think about it. I just thought about it in this very way. I know there's multiple perspectives. I'm not going to at this moment say what mine is, but I'm just thinking about it, right? Nationality is a lawful, legal, and international concept, right? Right now, they're saying, as far as the colonial area of what is called the United States, that is in North America, on the land or operates on the land, North America, Northwestern Mexum, right? From colonial operations, they're saying that the border is being invaded. They're coming here. They're flocking on many major cities where our people populate, mainly, among others. The the geographical locations are changing with gentrification. I get that. However, these quote unquote foreigners are coming here and they're getting all these millions in in prepaid benefit cards and whatnot, right? Like no immigration process. Again, it's not my agreement to any political perspective. I'm just speaking the facts of the narratives that are out there right now, right? And the people, and again, I love our people, right? I'm just thinking about this in this very moment. Like, this is a real moment in time. So people are coming from South America, and they're saying people are coming from China, all of this now. So there's real concerns, quote unquote, of invasion. Um, but then there's people seeking political asylum. Anybody could just come in right now, right? And it's crazy because they're coming here and they're getting financial benefits set up, like, let's say, in New York City. And I was just thinking again, is this an aspect of nationality? Like, because people are saying, well, why can't the blacks in the community get this money from them that they have to hand out? And I'm realizing that everybody they're handing money to has a nationality. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, they could claim like something that's not a color. Like, they could claim Venezuelan, Honduran, you know what I mean, Mexican, Chinese. Like, they could claim something that is not a color, and they're getting quote unquote money from the quote unquote state level governments. Does nationality have a correlation with that? Like, is that why they come in here getting benefits off the rip? Like, is this really the issue? Is nationality really the issue? Opposed to, hey, migrants crossing this line of what used to be their homeland anyway. Is that far fetched? You know what I mean? That's just a thought I had immediately to that.
Yeah, that's the reality.
Is it nationality for
Right?
everybody?
Because one day, once they say migrants, people's mind is already, foreigners or some other label again after that. But when they talk about them, like when the news pops up and they talk about migrants, they start talking about, well, the Congolese and the Congolese Baptist Church is helping these people because they want to help their people and all this stuff. Right? The undertone is nationality. The common theme is some type of brand. Right? So that the niggers don't see what's going on. Because that's all it's about, making sure that the Negroes don't get it. Don't get it in other way. Don't get what's going on to them, and then don't get the finance that's owed to them, and don't get whatever else. Don't get rights. Don't get the don't get people. They're always complaining about what they don't get, but everybody else around them is getting, and they don't see that it's because no nationality, no nationality. No nationality, no anything else. No. And I don't use the example with the church because that's what's going on out here with the quote unquote migrants. The same stuff. People and then people here complaining. Why they can't give people who are homeless here homes, but they're giving Ukrainians homes? All of a sudden they found 50 million that they can give Ukrainians. But this Asiatic's complaining about leaky faucet for 20 years. Can't get anything fixed.
My goodness. That's real talk. That's real talk. They just did that in the region I'm from. They just did that. Like, and it's foul because it's been something going on for a couple years now, right? Like leaky faucets and water running that isn't it's sewage water, right? And there's no heating. So just this month, they waited for them to pay the rent and then told them they paid the rent on Thursday or Friday, and then Monday they saying y'all got to leave for a month. We're gonna relocate you to this hotel because they actually sued as a community. They sued the Atlantic City Housing Authority. And for the Stanley Homes, a portion of the Stanley Homes village, bro, they didn't have no heat. They didn't have no heat. Things were off, and they sued for the living conditions. So they paid their rent, and then all of a sudden they say, okay, this month y'all got to get out until maybe mid-March, and we don't know how long they'll push that date back. But you know what I mean? It's just wild, the things that even today we still face. And you mentioned something about that, and I was just like, man, yo, this is crazy. Like, it's still going on right now, like live and direct right now in this moment in time. People, you know what I mean, being forced out of their living quarters with no adequate notice, bro. Crazy. That's
Straight up.
yeah.
Exactly. Somebody had asked a question in the chat. Why is this simple concept of nation equals reparations going over so-called black people's head? Yeah, because they're saying they're black. So they're not gonna get these concepts.
Nah, that's
If they were Moors, they would get these concepts because they would be studying to know what these concepts are.
Yeah. No, that's a great question.
Yeah. Go ahead, more.
No, you're right. That's a great question. I think that's the issue. That's what I was saying. Like, I believe it's nationality. You know what I mean? Which is why they're coming here and getting an advantage off the jump. But maybe not so much apparently. But I'm saying that I don't know. I'm not predicting the future. But if they were to just be let be, I believe in 5 to 10 years, they all of them who's coming here on the struggle right now will have their own businesses. You know what I mean? They're gonna own colored property owners and all of that. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's what they're gonna take over different jobs that some of us have recognized our value, realized we were underpaid doing those jobs, but also they're not gonna care about that because they're all gonna work and put their money together. So they'll endure whatever it takes, you know what I'm saying, to put themselves in the best position. I think that that's a part that we're gonna have to watch for in the long run. Um, I think it's a absolute example of nationality. That's crazy, but yeah, that's really what I trust that it is, because there's no way. Like, what else? What is the difference between the people who have been here struggling and these people who are just getting here and getting preferential treatment, in the sense of like they're emptying out schools so that these people, like in certain areas, you may have had your children may have been back in the school system post, COVID initial era, but they'll close your children's school down because they're housing these migrants. It's something to be said about, well, what is the difference? How are they getting all of this preferential treatment, right? That has to be the question. What is it about that? You know what I mean? Is it Biden's fault? Is it Trump's fault? Is it nationality? Is it us being rocked to sleep because World War III is among us? What is it? Why is it? And I'm just thinking, if we was to X out all of the excuses, is it nationality? Why can a Venezuelan who wasn't born under the 14th Amendment, you know what I'm saying, come here and get, why is it that they could come and get some sort of assistance ASAP? I think it's nationality, bro. I really think it's nationality. And that's what we Moors have to recognize, that it's something to it. Whether they want to give it to us or acknowledge us for it or not, we gotta understand that it's something to it. You know what I mean? And when we get that, I think our conditions will change on many different levels, locally and internationally, like the brother was saying in the clip that you was playing. You know what I mean? That, I think that's it, bro. Nationality is the order of the day. And with that, I yield the floor, bro.
Islam more. Nationality is definitely the order of the day. And again, like you say, until the people see it, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. Well, it was fast, but we're at 2 hours more. I don't know if you have anything else you need to put out.
Yeah,
But
no, for now, I think that we did what we were supposed to do for tonight.
yeah,
Uh, well, I think we left enough information to the listeners to just think about. You know what I mean? And as we highlighted earlier, that's what Noble Dryly was talking about. If I could just get you thinking again, you would free yourself. And so I just want to say, yo, acknowledgement. I appreciate you. Congratulations. Um, you know what I mean? I appreciate all the time, the dedication, and us putting these installments in. Um, Definitely a great session, and I'm glad we added on to this thought or this facts of history tonight. But yeah, more than that, man, congratulations again to y'all winning the championship. Bro, keep doing what you're doing. I highly appreciate it. I'm sure there are others who do as well. No matter how much hate is out there, you know what I mean? Stay true to what's real, bro, as you have been. And you know what I mean? Um, keep doing what you're doing, because it's benefiting the communities and societies in one way or another, bro. For sure.
and there's one more. We just got this one right here. If you could talk about this one fast, with regard to the proclamations and the 7 locations. When people get their judicial proclamation and name correction, and the 7 locations, if you could give a brief or a breakdown on why the 7 locations and who those individuals might be.
Yeah, I would say tune into. Hold on. Oh, I hear.
Hold on, let me mute 1 sec.
Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, back. Yeah, I don't hear the echoing anymore. I would say tune into RV Bay Publications online Wednesday class. You could go on rvbaypublications.com right now and get the link. Any questions you have about that, the information is already out there. I'm not going to give a class on it again. It was already done. So you can get the archives from there. Yeah, so definitely rvbaypublications.com. Go to the Gmail, RVBay Online or RVBay Go to Class, and you can order those civic instructions on what those 7 locations are about. You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
Islam, honors to all the Moors out there. I know the young brothers, they don't know anybody out there, but they know. You know, they know they did this for themselves and for more than themselves. So honors to all you Moors who've been supporting all year. You know, when you hear that there's games or practice or whatever like that, sending your energy. Honors, supreme honors. And don't forget, we're making our Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, Justice tour. Our next touchdown is going to be Aurora, Colorado. So for any info, just check the community page on the Canaanland Moors YouTube. Let's go to the community page, the flyers there, or you could get at the good brother Tariq Bay 2018 at gmail.com for any info or any Moors near that territory. There's Moors there, and we're gonna be out there having our little cipher, our little build sessions. So just get in contact with the Moor, and we'll see you next week out near Colorado. And as always, honors to the mothers for kicking us off on their platform and allowing us to build up some momentum. And then here we are now, you know, doing what we do on the best Thursdays, because we always get the best Thursdays. You know, we always get the best Thursdays, and this was a real good Thursday to have Sons of Allah.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, this is a real good Thursday. Honors to all the Moors in the chat and all the mothers worldwide. Peace and love to all the Moors. Peace and love to all the faithful, the true and faithful Moors. Keep living by the principles, Moors, and happy holy day to all the Moors. Islam.
Facts. Happy holy day. For sure. Sheesh.
Do you have anything to say about this matter?
Yeah. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Yep. Sir, what do you have to say?
I just want to put it on the record. I'm not ready. Yeah, what he said. Moore's life matters.
More lives matter. It seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter. Shot in the back, running or choked out to death on the corners. Mistake this taser for his sidearm, says the coroner. To the yellow journalist that won awards for writing facts for World Wide Press stories, always calling them black. Civil rights violated, here comes C1-7 and CIA and FBI agent, brethren felons with what Big Brother once heard. Most Moors are nerds and study more than if I'm on the road, no biting curbs. No threats of nooses or fighting for survival. Making Moors martyrs won't happen, calling us Captain Rival. Inquisition abolitionist governors and secretaries of state got stateless on their tables like ribeye steak with no care, blood dripping. They eat blacks rare. Foreigners wearing 6-point badges, pretending they're heirs to the vastness estate Muguri Balaksa. Stainless blood flow past a horse's brow, I swear it's agua. Demons thirst quench, stealing pioneers and organs. Psychiatry, death industry, to start selling black orphans and half-closed coffins, cause legs are missing, killing stateless people, cancer won't even see remission. More lives matter, but it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter.
System, what system? Not gonna make myself no victim. Run down and kick them up, educate oneself and flip them. All of their titles or nationality strips them. Must grip reality in order to really grip them in this third dimensional illusion. Organized chaos, confusion, stealing your attention. Mental intrusion, universal laws, declaration of the ancients. I self-law and master from the rooftops to the basements. Hoop deep to the spaceship, ever since all creations. Celestial foundations, ocean floor to the ranges, to the mountain tip, to the cosmic infinite. Basically, we are way above the shit. In other words, get in tune with spirit. Take a breath and accept mental polarity, gender rhythm, correspondence, vibration, cause and effect.
More lives matter, but it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter.
More lives matter, cause I sing it no sound off. It gets defected when rejected, put your ass off. Get my perspective on the record to replay. All the news that on replay until they want to cast off. Bury them, on to the next one. Enough of them are gunning down. Youths them a cast cross. Can't believe I told me that. Can't believe a Taj Boss, Trayvon, Michael Brown died for us to find cause. The afterlife visited the class brawl. Who they really want to see with the crown on high and the garbs on free? I am free and in no business but your land or your country to seek your inalienable rights. The insatiable delight of knowing thyself and bringing all injustice to light. For the fight, it's your plight, make your sight for the bright. I'm the mic in the night, foresight for you to realize that, huh?
More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter.